Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I'm thrilled to introduce you to LaJune Singleton. She is a board certified health coach and personal trainer, and she addresses her clients' needs from a holistic approach. She recognizes that it is more than just what we eat and how we move our body, it is also our mindset, and this conversation is just perfect for what we need these days. So make sure you grab your tea, grab a pen, grab a friend, and listen in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tips Over Tea. I am so thrilled to introduce you to Miss LaJune Singleton, board certified health coach. Miss LaJune, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So welcome. I'm so thrilled. I love this topic because it's not talked about enough. It's starting to become that way, but it's not talked about enough. So I'm excited to talk about this with you. And we're gonna, for those who are just tuning in right now, we're gonna be talking about how trauma affects your health and wellness, and how it can cause self-sabotaging behaviors. So first of all, if you could just share, how did you become, what made you decide to become a health coach? So share a little bit of that journey.
So, before health coaching, I was a personal trainer. I got my certification in 2010. And, as a personal trainer, you are still being a health coach because you are still addressing things with your clients. Where I've had clients come in, I'm looking at them, they're looking like it's the first workout and they're fatigued and like, hey, what's going on? And most of them, especially us women, we're trying to lose weight and we will literally try to stop eating because we're trying to get to our ideal weight. And having that conversation of, you have to eat when you're doing a vigorous workout. You can't just come in thinking you're going to drop pounds and sweat. No,
Yeah.
you're going to drop. You're going to pass out.
Yes.
So, kind of how that started. 2019, I got my certification as a health coach and
Mhm.
went to Bali and didn't realize after my going to a retreat in Bali that the jobs I had, I was doing coaching because I was
Mhm.
working in the mental health field as a case manager. I was working at the health department as a disease control specialist for HIV and STDs,
Nice.
and talking to these clients of, making sure they're doing the things they need to do to stay mentally, mindset, nutritional, and overall healthy.
Yeah.
And it really clicked of, you've been doing this forever. Like now you just certified in it. So that's how it came about.
I love that. It's so interesting. I love to hear the journey of it was a lot of times we are like already doing it and it's like, let's just go ahead and make it official.
Right.
So as you're working with clients now, how did this topic of trauma like introduce itself into your practice?
So it actually started in 2019 where I met someone actually at a training for when I was working at the health department.
Mhm.
And she was saying she was deciding if she wanted to hire a trainer, a coach, or get the weight loss surgery. So I
Mhm.
said, hey, let's talk before you make that decision because a lot of people spend money on weight loss surgery. It's not successful because you haven't dealt with the things that's causing you to stress, emotional eat, and
Yeah.
things like that. So I went to her house, did the whole refrigerator look to see what she had, and
Yeah.
she was pre hypertensive.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, well, you need to get rid of this Kraft cheese. You need to get rid of this. You need to get
Mhm.
rid of that.
Mhm.
And I asked her, I said, well, what's going on with you? Because it's always something that's going on that we're holding on weight. And I saw that with myself where I was going to the gym, I'm eating all the stuff you're supposed to eat, and I wasn't losing the weight. I wasn't losing the weight because I was still holding on to the trauma, the grief, the abandonment issues, this long line of stuff that I hadn't dealt with
Yeah.
from childhood.
Mhm.
And I was really sabotaging myself. My life was just going spiral. I was suicidal. It was just so many things.
Mhm.
And I asked her what was going on with her. And she said, well, I lost my son in a drive-by. And of course, every parent feels like they should be the first to die before their kids.
Yeah.
And she was holding on to that grief. She was holding on to that guilt.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's it. Because
Yeah.
you're holding on to that. You're feeling guilty. You're holding on to the grief. I asked her, has she been in therapy? She said no. And I told her, I said, well, you need to have therapy. You need to do either a group grief session. You need something to help
Mhm.
you release that,
Mhm.
because for as a coach, it's only a certain thing that you can do. When it comes to that trauma, to the highest extent, that's not something that we're really trained on doing. We can talk to you about it, but I was like, that's something that you need, because personal training is not going to help you. You need more.
Yeah.
So those are the things. Even with clients that come to me initially for personal training,
Mhm.
why haven't you been successful?
Yep.
And we talk about those things, where they look at, I just, it's been just me, or taking care of everything, or being
Yep.
the primary person, and you know that's how I've been operating for so many years, or what we've seen our parents do. So
Mhm.
typically those type of things.
Yeah. I love that, and I love that. I love that you were able to like take a pause and like what exactly is going on with you, because a lot of people are not trauma informed and don't recognize how it really affects your body and really can prevent you from moving forward in the direction you would like to go, right? Like I've studied that a lot myself. It's yeah, it's fascinating, and it's what's interesting about it is because it's not like a physical thing, right? It's well, thoughts are physical, but
Right.
in our society we don't recognize that as most of us are don't, and the physical manifestation of your thoughts is that holding on to that weight and making it hard to let it go. um so I've read several books. I recommend books, like if I do have that conversation with clients as well. It's like The Body Keeps Score. Have you read that
Oh
one?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that is
and
oh,
I don't know if you've done sound healing. I did
mhm,
it in Bali,
mhm,
and I was holding a lot of my trauma in my knee. I had a knee injury in 2011, and
mhm,
it was taking forever for my knee to heal, because it was that
mhm,
trauma just impact. I'm laying down
mhm.
doing the sound healing, and my leg kept doing this. It kept doing this the whole time. I couldn't get
Love it.
comfortable. I was frustrated, and I'm hearing people behind me snoring and sleeping. And I'm like, I can't get comfortable because my leg keeps doing this. I wanted to get up, and I was just like, maybe it's over soon. Maybe it's over soon. And it
Yeah.
was like my body was trying to release it,
Yep.
but I couldn't control what was going on. And it was that whole thing of I was trying to control instead
Yes.
of just relaxing and letting go.
Yes. I love that revelation. That's another big piece, right? When conversations I've had with clients with with food eating habits, like trauma eating habits, they don't recognize it's the trauma, but that's like that feels like that's the only thing they have control over. And so that's what they go to because everything else feels so chaotic. So I love that you recognize that you're like, I just gotta let go of what I don't have control over
Right.
and just let things process as they do. And I love that you had that experience. That sounds awesome. Is that retreat like regular?
It hasn't, of course, been regular since, the whole COVID
Mm-hmm.
situation. So she does plan on possibly next year starting back. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's going to be in Bali or another location, but I did talk to her recently, and she said it is something that she wants to, get back to doing.
Soon, yeah. I'm sure because you got to witness a lot of healing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I let her know regularly because she and I are, very close. And I let her
Mhm,
know, like, hey, you changed my life. I don't know if think I'm just saying this, but I'm like, literally, the day that we were getting ready to leave, and we were all sitting around the table, and it was six of us, and everybody was like, you look totally different from when you came in. Your eyes look brighter. You just look so happy. And
mhm,
I felt like 1,000-pound weight was lifted off of me.
mhm, mhm. That's so huge, which is why that conversation that you have with your clients is so important. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Do you share that story with your clients? Like how that
I do tell them that, I went to Bali, and, it was Bali. I had been to therapy before,
Mhm,
and when I went to therapy, it was for being sexually assaulted.
mhm.
So of course they only really touch on those things in the
Yeah.
childhood molestation I also experienced, but
Mhm.
they really don't go in depth to the other things. It's just the present of what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So going there, it covered for 7 days, it covered everything because I never looked at grief as a form of abandonment.
Mhm.
And then I had to look at, okay, you losing your dad, you couldn't really commit to other relationships
Mhm.
because it was that fear of they're going to leave in some shape or form. Either it's death, either they're going to end the relationship. So it was safer for me to put everybody in the friend zone.
Mhm.
And I was just like, it was again that control thing. I was trying to control it, which is sabotaging because basically you're already got these thoughts and ideals of they're going to leave. You're creating a story in your head already. They're going to leave. It's going to be
Mhm.
like this. They're going to leave for somebody else. I'm not going to be able to make them that happy or whatever. And once you start to catch those things, you
Yes.
prevent that because when you start speaking things and thinking things to the universe, you're absolutely right. They're going to leave.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, that I love that you that's a beautiful segue into the power of our words and our thoughts. Um, they really do manifest. It's and I always I'm like if you say you want one thing,
Right.
but your your subconscious beliefs and your actions are telling the universe you want something else, and the universe is like I don't know this. I'm gonna listen to that voice.
Right.
So I love that. So I imagine you have that conversation with them because you probably catch some of their
Oh, yeah.
self-sabotaging
Yeah.
language. How
Yeah.
does that go? I
And
love
when
it.
it comes, I can't, and it's like, you're already doing it. So what do you mean you can't? Especially when it's
Mhm.
personal training. I can't, it's hard, it hurts. You just literally spent at least 20 seconds doing it. So clearly you can do it. So it's mind over
Mhm.
matter. And then, being mindful and reminding them, breathe. You have to breathe because we do, when we get stressed, we stop breathing and we're
Yeah,
holding our breaths, and it's like breathe. And some sessions I've had with clients where I literally had to something felt off, and I was
yeah,
like, this is not a personal training session, this is a
yeah,
health coaching session. So
yeah,
let's talk about what's going on. And literally we spent that whole session on health coaching and breathing and meditation and just getting her thoughts in a positive and better place.
yeah, yep. I love that. It is so important. I know I was can't remember if I was reading this, but what you eat, like as you're thinking about your food, if you're thinking about how, oh, this is bad for me, like you're literally creating an environment for toxicity in your system. Even if it's something like a cookie, it makes it worse when with the thoughts that you put behind it as you're consuming it. So I love that you paused because if she's working out but she's got this negative thoughts about like the whole scenario, it's really counterproductive. So I love that you take the time and you pause and you listen to your intuition. You're like, yeah, it shows your how beautiful it is that you're like, I want you to win. And the only way you
Yeah.
can win is if we take a pause here. I know you're here for this, but this is not benefiting you at this moment. How can we shift that so that this can be beneficial to you. So that's such a beautiful um, display of like, I want you to win.
Yeah.
I love that. What would you say is one of your challenging, the most challenging scenarios you have with the clients these days? And do you train in person now, or are you?
No, right now it's virtual.
Mhm,
I am considering getting back to training at Planet Fitness because I have a Black Card membership there.
mhm,
But definitely, I would say getting them to change what they're eating. I have, clients who they've done a food sensitivity test and literally it's telling them what's causing their sensitivity and being willing to give that up for 3 to 6 months just
mhm.
to see the results and see how your body responds to it. And it's, like, no, not doing it. Okay, well, you're wondering why your stomach's not going down
Yeah,
because it's something that you're eating that is causing the inflammation and the bloating. So, I think that would be one of the challenges,
yeah.
other than, the challenges of figuring out what to eat, where, they
Mhm.
may be doing a lot of traveling and finding that balance of what's my healthier options,
Yeah.
and them, really texting me because I'm like, hey, you can text me. You can,
Yes.
ask me a question or whatever. Don't feel like you can't do it and I'm going to be upset. No, I want you to win. So please contact me. Let's talk about what would be a better choice
Mhm,
instead of you going to Wingstop where you could probably go to Boston Market. The chicken is
mhm,
better than the
mhm,
one that's in the grease.
mhm.
So those type of things would probably be some of the challenges that I've seen clients have.
Yeah, I can imagine because sometimes they're like, I don't want to bother you. Please do.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
paying me to help you, and let me help
Right.
you. So I love that. I can appreciate that you remind them this is no judgment. This is like literally I am here for you. This is why we have this relationship. Like, and a lot of times people aren't used to that, right? They're
Right.
used to people putting them down or being an enabler, but like, you can do it this one time or whatever. And they don't usually have someone in their corner like rooting for them to better themselves in any way. So the fact that they have to just get used to reaching
Having
out.
that support system
Yeah.
because a lot of them don't have that. They don't have that support. They
Hmm.
don't have that accountability. Even with, their partner, their spouse, or their family, they don't have that and they don't know how to respond to having someone that's showing that, you know what, I care about you. I want to see you win. I want you to be your healthier self. I want you to be successful in all aspects and avenues. So I think that in itself is, a challenge, especially for us women, because we're so used to being so independent and doing everything ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love it. I love it. Like, you get over here. I'm your partner. Like you laugh at yourself. It so, I love that. And you said something else I wanted to touch on
You are breaking
with
up
the.
a little. I couldn't hear you.
Okay, I was just trying to think about something else that you said I wanted to touch on, but it slipped my mind. Um, with the challenges, and I'm just
Yeah, we lost her.
are
There
we
you go.
we good? Okay.
Yes.
Gotta love travel internet.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was just trying to think about something else that came to mind as you were talking, but it slipped my mind. But we're coming up on we've been already chatting for 20 minutes. I can't, it time
Mhm.
just flies, right? I love
I
it.
need to slow down. It's almost October. It's like I feel like we haven't enjoyed September.
I know, but I'm not gonna lie. I am looking forward to the fall because that is like my favorite season for like the boots and the jeans and the
Oh yeah, yeah, yes, yes, and the sweaters, and yes, 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 yes.
sweat. Oh, the food sensitivity piece. What I've experienced with clients is they feel like they're missing out on something, right? Like, I know, I know. It's like, yeah, you are missing out on something. You're missing out on a better life.
Right, right, right.
One that doesn't involve having to be near a bathroom or having to take something to relieve you of bloating and
Mhm.
constipation and all that stuff. Um, but it's the problem is society has made that normal, right? Like they normalized the ailments that we go through from the foods that we eat. So it's been our job to denormalize that, deprogram it, and
Right.
so I love that you have those conversations with them. What would you say has been the most helpful thing that you've like tip that you've given them that helps them finally shift from that, from like not giving up some things?
So I just let them know from my personal experience
Hmm.
because I think people resonate a little more when they see someone who's experienced it.
Hmm.
I did the food sensitivity test in 2019 after I got the results back. And it was literally stuff that I was eating, like the big chicken, the boiled eggs every morning for breakfast, trying to get that protein,
Yeah.
the almonds, the cashews, and I knew cashews and almonds because when I immediately ate it, my stomach would just swell up like a balloon.
Hmm.
And just to get that confirmation, it was like, okay. So I literally gave up everything that was on the list from high, mild, moderate. I was just like, I'm done.
Hmm.
And literally in 2 weeks, I dropped 12 pounds. And most of it was inflammation. It
Yep.
was inflammation and bloating of what I was eating. Um, and I tell them that. I was like, it's not something that you have to give up forever, but the way we eat our food,
Yeah.
we can't determine what's causing what because we eat our food all together.
Yep.
One thing about me, I eat my food separate. So I eat my fries first and then I'll go to the burger, but most people don't do that.
Yeah.
So, being mindful and paying attention of how your body responds. If you eat, chicken and you notice, wow, I'm getting bloated. Okay, well, you have a sensitivity to chicken.
Yeah.
So just being mindful of those things. So, and it's only 3 months that you're giving it up. Like literally,
Right.
you can do it less than 3 months. You can, discontinue it for a month and slowly bring it back to see how your body responds and then say, you know what, hey, my body is acting different when I brought it back. I noticed I'm bloated. I noticed my ankles are swelling or whatever the case
Hmm.
may be.
Hmm.
So that's what I tell them.
Yeah, I love that. It's because it giving them the opportunity to feel what it feels like without it, and then when they reintroduce it, it's like, okay, do I really want to feel like this every time? But if they decide to, at least they're deciding knowing how they're going to feel,
Right.
right? That is the beautiful piece, aspect of the mindfulness piece of it. Um, so I love that you have that conversation with them because that's the conversation I have with my clients as well. It's like, feel this first,
Right.
like this is how you're supposed to feel, and then at least if you're like, I want it anyway, you know what you're getting into. You're not
Right.
doing it mindlessly. You're not going in just like blind. You're going in already knowing what's going to happen, and you're choosing to. You're giving yourself a more coming from you're giving yourself more empowerment by knowing how your body's going to respond ahead of time.
And you feel lighter if you notice how, if you pay attention to how we typically used to eat, where you
Hmm.
feel heavy and you feel like you always need a nap.
Hmm.
Food is not for you to fall asleep. Food
No.
is supposed to be nourishing your
Yes.
body. It's not supposed to be after you eat, you passed out on the couch or you need to go lay down. It's
Right.
supposed to fuel you, not have you passed out.
Exhaust you. Yeah. Yeah. And that is literally your body trying to talk to you. But again, we've normalized, oh, I got the itis. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be itising.
And literally, you are what you eat. It's
Yeah,
like, just think about what you're putting in your body. You are
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Another thing that I like to inform about is like, if you do still eat meat, the trauma that those animals go through, you're
yeah.
absorbing
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're going to do meat, like figure out where it's coming from, how it was treated beforehand, because that also plays a big role in the whole weight loss and all of that too, because you're absorbing that the stress and the trauma as well. So talking about are what you eat.
Yeah. You definitely are, because if I don't know if you've ever heard of people say, well, I ate late and I had nightmares.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, if you ate a piece of meat, that animal could experience some form of trauma, and you're just putting that trauma in your body, and you're probably dreaming about it.
Hmm. Yep.
Because you always hear somebody say, well, I had a dream somebody was chasing me and trying to kill me. That was that animal.
Yeah. Yep. You're living their experience.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love it. So we are just about 5 minutes, and I like to like pause at this point because I want you to share like what do you have on, what do you got going on, offers, how people can get in touch with you, because clearly you're a wonderful person to work with. So please do share.
So I have a event that's going to be the next 3 months, starting the second Saturday in October.
Mhm.
And it is called Breaking Bad Habits. So we have this thing of saying, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it in 2023.
Mhm.
Stop putting off what you can do now to become better, because clearly what you're doing is not working for you. So start, I'm going to have a financial planner, I'm going to have a therapist, I'm going to have a relationship coach for the 8th.
Mhm.
The following week, I'm going to have a life strategist coach, a lymphatic specialist, and I think it is another therapist on. And then December is going to be a financial coach, a life coach, and a lifestyle strategist coach. And just, the relationship coach is to help with having that relationship with money, having that relationship with yourself.
Mhm.
Because we think of relationship, we just think of, oh, me and my partner.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot of relationships
Yes.
we need to have that we
Yeah.
don't understand, that plays important roles.
Yeah.
Um, I have that going on. Of course, my right now I am accepting new clients. So
Mhm.
if you want health coaching or personal training,
Mhm.
contact me. LajuneSingleton.com. I
Mhm.
have packages you can do mix and match. We can talk about it. Definitely contact me for consulting. And definitely my book, Releasing My Trauma, The Root of Self-Sabotage, which is basically how my trauma started to how I figured it out and how it's going now. So definitely, it's a short read, but definitely check it out. I've had men get the book and they've contacted me and they're like, "Oh wow, this changed my life."
I love
And it was just, like, okay. I mean, I wrote it for everybody, but I didn't really, think that men would gravitate. But it
that.
feels good that I'm helping and saving people.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. So we'll make sure you have your website in the description so people can just click and join you, because that program is on your website and your book is on your website as well.
So the program is not on my website. I am waiting for the person to design the cover and send it to me so I can put it on Eventbrite, but it will
Okay.
be on my social media platforms.
Okay. So we'll have your social on in the description as well.
Yes.
So awesome. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I've really enjoyed talking with you. I knew I would because I saw you on Lambo's show. I was like, yes, I need to talk to her. So thank you so much for taking your time out to just to share your knowledge and share your being with me and the audience. And I wish you continued success and um, in changing people's lives. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you for what you do as well.
Thank you. Awesome. So Hey, if whether you tuned in live or caught this later, I really appreciate your time as well. Reach out to LaJune, both if you're far or in the DC area. Reach out. She's got you, and as you can see, you're in good hands. She like covers the whole everything, the whole gambit, all the things. So thank you for tuning in. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and click that button, like, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified anytime we upload or share another video. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao for now. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll be notified anytime we upload a new video or go live. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to post it in the comments. We're always checking that. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day.